Conditional columns are a great way of applying logic, like an if statement, to each row in a query. So what I would like to do is create a number of conditional columns for the sales 2019 to 2021 query. Now the first thing I need to do is to first of all get rid of all these nulls in these three columns. So select the first column, shift click the third column, and then on the home tab I'm just going to use the replace values. And I really need to replace all the nulls, or the lowercase n, with 0. And when I click OK, that's exactly what it'll do. Get rid of all the nulls and replace them with zeros. Now what I'd like to do is create a column, so I'm going to be using the Add Column tab, and it's going to be a conditional column, so I'll be using this button. And I really want to say, look, if a sale in 2019 for a particular brand was greater than 20,000, then that's considered a top seller. But if it's greater than 10,000, then it's considered a popular brand. Otherwise, it's just sort of a standard brand. And so to create a conditional column, I'm just going to go to this button here and give it a name. So in this case, it'll be 2019 brands. Now, if the sale for 2019 is greater than or equal to 20,000, it's considered a top seller. Then I hit the add clause to add a second clause. If the sale for 2019 is greater than or equal to 10,000, then it's considered a popular brand. Otherwise, and that's the else here, it's just considered standard. So that's going to create a new column called 2019 brands, and if a sale is greater than 20,000, it's a top seller. If it's greater than 10,000, it's a popular brand, otherwise it's standard. And I go OK. Now here it is here. I'm just going to drag it and put it to the right of sale 2019, and I can see my standard brands, my popular brands, and I can see my top sellers. Let's add another conditional column. So conditional column, I'm going to give it a name, 2020 brands, and I'm going to say if the sale for 2020 is greater than or equal to 20,000, then again it's considered a top seller. Add a clause. If the sale for 2020 is greater than or equal to 10,000, then it's considered a popular brand. Otherwise, it's just a standard seller. And OK. There's my brands. I'll drag that, put it to the right of 2020, so I can see my popular and my standard and my top sellers. Last column is conditional column. The name of the conditional column is 2021 brands. And again, if the sale for 2021 is greater than or equal to 20,000, it's considered a top seller. Add clause, if the sale for 2021 is greater than or equal to 10,000, it's considered a popular brand. Otherwise, it's just a standard seller. And OK. And so there are my three conditional columns. I'd like to also create another conditional column. Now what I've got over here to the left is I've got a column called month. And I want to show what quarter that month falls into. Now for this particular company, the first quarter is April. April, May and June are the first quarter. So I need to create a customized conditional column. So on the add column, I'll choose conditional column. I'm going to call it financial quarters. And I'm going to say if the month column is equal to April, then that is quarter 1. And I'll take a copy of that. Add clause. If the month is equal to May, paste, quarter 1. Add clause. If the month is equal to June, paste. That's my first quarter done. Add clause. If the month is equal to July, paste, but change it to a 2 and take a copy of that and add a clause and say if the month is equal to August, then that's also quarter 2. Add a clause if the month is equal to September, then that is also, quarter 2. Add a clause if the month is equal to October, then that is quarter 3. Add a clause if the month is equal to November, then that also is quarter 3. Add the clause if the month is equal to December, that is also quarter 3. And then the last quarter is if the month is equal to January, then that is quarter 1. Add a clause if the month is equal to February, that is quarter 1. Add a clause if the month is equal to March, then that is quarter 1. And I'm not going to use the else at all, so I just go okay. What I have now is a financial quarters column. If I drag that to the left and ultimately put it to the right of the column called month, I'll be able to compare my quarters. January, quarter 1, March, April, May, June. So April, May and June should be quarter 1. This actually should be quarter 4. So I've made a mistake. How do you fix a conditional column? Well, over here in your steps is add conditional column 3. That was my last conditional column. If I click the cog or the settings, it brings up the conditional column window and I can make some changes. So April, May and June were quarter 1, but the last 3 should have been quarter 4. And so that is how you go back and make an adjustment to your conditional column. And okay. I now look at the data, it's put it on the end again, I drag it back to the left so I can compare it with my months and just make sure everything is correct and drop it there. And now I can say, insert. And now I can say that I've got 4, 4, 4, 1, 1, 1. So I've reordered that column. This step here is probably no longer needed, so I'll delete it because that was a step there. That message was asking me, did I want to insert this step, which is to drag the financial quarters column to the left? And I did want to insert it. And it made the reorder column 2 step redundant, so I deleted it. So those are examples of conditional columns where it's a great way to implement logic that works on a row by row basis.